As our crew is lining up our fancy heifers and getting them all set up again, welcome everybody here to the Classic and to our fancy heifer events. We're going to get those underway here in just a few minutes. As all of our junior families kind of gather around here, make sure you know about the Classic Reward Program, the scholarship program. And it's not, don't let the word scholarship scare you into thinking the kids got to be in high school and they don't get the reward until they go off to college. It really is a reward program. There's a junior division, intermediate division, senior division, and here a little later at 6 o'clock, you're going to see us present boys and girls that are from 8 years old to 20-year old. $24,000 back is what the Classic Board is given to these kids. And really, it's a neat program, so make sure you look at it. It includes the opportunity to go on an educational tour. As a matter of fact, last summer we went to Planner Works. They've got a booth out here and was very honored to work with Cody and Heath Robinson and hit their team down there and kind of hear them tell their story. We went over to Holdridge to Nebraska Star Beef and learned about their business and kind of some of the neat things they're doing. We had a great evening supper where they visited with other industry leaders. The kids did a simple record book. It's nothing hard. I make it really easy. It's the kind of record book that we want them sitting down with dad or grandpa, learning about how much they fed them, how much it costs. And in all honesty, we joked and we asked them if they made money. For those of us that have kids in 4 H, we all know it's not about how much money they're making. And it's a project and building that next generation, building those skills that will take them on to their careers, whatever it may be. So look at that. Check out these fancy heifers and steers that are going to be featured here tonight in the sale at 6:30. And I think as soon as our team's ready, we're going to get our fancy heifer show underway. You're going to have the perfect opportunity tonight. We'll have this fancy heifer show and we'll select a champion and a reserve. After we do that, we'll bring the fancy heifers in. We'll display them on the north side of these panels right here in the ring. Then we'll bring our prospect steers in and we'll parade the steers so you can kind of get a look at the steers that'll be sold tonight. We'll park them here on the south side and then you guys can come right on in the ring, get a closer look at what's going to be in the sale and talk to the consigners. Okay, we're ready for our first class, and I think they broke them into odd and even numbers in back. And very honored to welcome back to our show ring here is Austin Wieselmeyer. Austin is no stranger to the Classic. He was actually one of our Supreme Road judges last night. Him and his family have Vision Angus at Holyoke, Colorado. Austin is actually a feed salesman for Soother Feeds, and he's grown up. Their family has showed at the Classic in the Angus show several times, been a part of our livestock judging contest. As a matter of fact, was very honored in our judging contest that took place on Saturday. Him and his dad brought in a set of heifers for the contest, and Austin grew up, judged very successfully at Butler, K State, and again, we thank him for taking time out of his schedule. We know time is probably the number one thing we don't have enough of. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you're ringside, let's put our hands together and thank Austin for being here tonight.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. It's sure nice to get just a little bit of break in the cold weather, and I think this weekend will be pretty nice. And it sounds like numbers are definitely working up for the junior show. And so I think the first class of the fancy heifers we have, lots of differences in terms of type and kind, and that's kind of the cool thing about it. Is you can come in here and try and find a breed registered type heifer, a market heifer, or one that just kind of really fits your type and kind. And so just to kind of go through and talk each one of them before we bring back two for our final go. I think the young man's kind of Shar composite looking heifer up front, really, really attractive and stylish through that front third. I think balance and angles, the skeleton read fairly correct in this heifer. Like the boldness and shape to her center body and a lot of power and pin width as you get behind her. This one definitely looks like she could be kind of flexible on the breeding or the market side, depending on your preferences and the goals that you guys have with them. But I think one that reaches out and offers enough flexibility and still like the extra stoutness of foot and bone found in her. The black heifer that's second in line, definitely a lot of frame, a lot of length and growth to her. Really like the length, the side, the levelness of top line. You get behind the cattle, and I think there's actually some muscle shape and some power to be found there. Pretty big topped heifer, got a lot of shape and turn to her stifle, but definitely looks like more of a late bloomer type, one that I'd like to see just a tick softer in terms of center body, but one that I think when you kind of get this one bred and come in the county fair and state fair season, there's a lot of good to be found in that one. Really like the stoutness and feature underneath this heifer. Really good in terms of foot shape and size. I think there's some really nice things to like there from a longevity standpoint. The young lady's black heifer that's third in line. I think one that paints just an absolutely incredible silhouette here on the profile. Heifer that I think is going to be competitive in just about any show you take her to, and maybe even this weekend if the buyer chooses to show here. I think one that's just super attractive and feminine, balances exceptionally well on the profile. That's a soft made, good powered female that's still really, really sound in motion. I think that one's got a lot of future ahead of her. The young man's kind of Char looking heifer coming next. One that I really like from a soundness and flexibility standpoint. I think this heifer gets out and reaches really nice off of both ends of her skeleton. One that I think is kind of that late bloomer type. She's a little green and skinny today, but I think that allows the young person that buys this one to kind of experiment a little bit more with feed and be able to talk with the breeders and learn there and kind of develop this heifer to their style as they go forward. I think one that's pretty easy doing and good in terms of center body dimension and softness. Kind of the short horn appearing heifer coming next. Lots of power, lots of body shape and dimension found in her. That one is still pretty chiseled up through her front third and attractive about the shape to her head and neck. I think plenty of stoutness of feature and bone to this female. Maybe she could come to us just a little bit more cool in terms of the set from hawk to ground, but it absolutely doesn't take away from functionality and flexibility and motion. That'll be a pretty cool heifer to compete this weekend. She's bloomy, she's fresh today. I think they've got her looking the part. The young man's red heifer following up the lineup. I think one that's got a lot of length and frame and growth to her. Another kind of late bloomer type, one that definitely offers a lot of flexibility and soundness in motion. And even though she's not the tightest throated, I still think that one reads very feminine and attractive about her front third. Give this one a little bit of time on feed, let her body down and soften up a little bit. And I think that one pulls together a really attractive and nice balance on the profile. With that being said, the two heifers that we're going to bring back for our champion lineup are going to be the two black heifers here in the center of the ring. We'll see them out here in just a few minutes. Congratulations to these exhibitors.
We'll bring in our second round of fancy heifers that are featured in the sale tonight. Then we'll bring back in our ones for the final go. And as I mentioned, after we select the judge's choice of a fancy and reserve, we'll bring all of them on display on the north side of the panels. They will be displayed with their lot number on the panel. Well, as you're here at the Classic for the next couple days, make sure you're visiting with all of our vendors. Very excited about the tremendous commercial trade show we have this year. And thank them for being here. Thank all of these sponsors for being a part of the Classic and talk to them about what they brought here. You know, whether it's the Matt and Michaela Gertis with Gertis Feed and Supply that have the tremendous setup with Aero Equip. Check out the shoots. I know you guys got to see the shoot at work in the livestock check-in. A great young couple that's very supportive here of all cattlemen of all ages. Also want to point out Rob's here with 701X. Make sure and stop by and visit with Rob.
Well, they sure brought the heat in this second group of the fancy heifers. I think a little bit more numbers, but a lot of quality out here, and various different types and kinds that can kind of fit the kind that you're looking for. But just to kind of run down the lineup again, the black heifer starting off, lots of frame and growth and performance in this female. I think one that you get in behind the cattle, and there's a lot of substance and dimension there. I think she's very genuine in terms of center body. That's a heifer that's pretty sound and flexible in motion. One that's still very attractive and feminine about her type and kind through her front third. One that I think we give her just a little bit more time and allow her to soften up that rear rib and flank. I think that one pulls together exceptionally well. The young lady's black heifer next. I think one that's just extremely attractive and balances super well on the profile. This is probably the tightest fronted heifer one of the tightest fronted heifers that we've seen come through, but she definitely brings some power, some dimension to center body, and some substance of foot and bone with that as well. And then she doesn't sacrifice any flexibility and comfort in motion. That's definitely one to keep your eyes on as we go through the sale tonight as well. The young man's heifer coming next. One that's just really, really unique in terms of the set and angle to her shoulder, the way her neck comes out of the top side of it. She is really pencil fronted and feminine about that head. And then you get behind the cattle, and there's just a ton of progression of width, super round and bold in that rib cage, and a lot of muscle shape and power as you get right behind the cattle. That's one that I like in terms of foot and bone work. She comes up just on the backside of her tracks in motion, but that one still operates things pretty fluidly. That's a female that really, really is sure striking out here as well. The young man's red heifer next. I think one that's really long-sided, lots of length, lots of height and frame and performance to this female as well. That's one you get in behind the cattle, and there's a lot of pin width, lots of width over her top of her back, and one that's got a lot of shape and dimension to her center body. A female that I'd like to see go just a little bit more square from hock to ground, but I think a little bit of that comes with age and time and getting them filled out. Get this one softened up just a little bit more and some more days of feed on her. I think she really, really pulls together after that too. The young lady's black heifer one that's definitely not shy on muscle out here. You get it behind the cattle, and that's definitely one of the biggest hips, most powerful females that we've seen. Just super capacious in her center body. Heifer that I like in terms of angles of skeleton when she gets her parked on the profile. Lots of stoutness of foot and bone work there. That one maybe drops her pins just a little bit, but I think if an exhibitor chooses to go the market heifer route, they're going to find that she'll be pretty competitive on that side of things. The young man's white heifer coming next. I think one that's maybe a little bit softer in her type and kind. I like the easy doing look of this female. I think one that's really good in terms of foot shape, lots of stoutness of feature, still plenty of muscle and power to go behind it, and one that's very attractive through that front third. She's one that I think is really going to come together with a few more days on feed. She's maybe one of the greener options out here as well. So there's a lot of future to be found in that female too. The young lady's white heifer coming next. I think one that's definitely brings some power to the table, lots of dimension of center body and rib. You get behind the cattle, and she's really big pin, lots of shape to that lower stifle. A heifer that still offers some really nice balance and attractiveness when parked on the profile. Definitely offers kind of that cool clubby market heifer look as you get off to the side and then behind them. If that's the way an exhibitor chooses to exhibit this heifer, I think they're going to find she'll be pretty competitive in that side of things as well. I think a really, really competitive group of females, the ones that we're going to go ahead and bring back the second and third heifers in line. And then the young lady's black heifer that's fifth in line. Those three are going to come back for our champion lineup.
Want to remind you there's several exhibitors located on the north side of the show ring. Want to make sure you're aware Final Drive is over there. He's actually behind the Kubota equipment. So make sure and look up Travis. He's over there with his all of his products, very supportive of all of the events here at the Classic. Wild Ass Soap is over there. And a huge shout out to Jody and Rob Cooper. We appreciate you guys being here and all of your support and sponsorship. And the next couple days, make sure and talk to them, visit with them about all their different products. They're here so they can showcase their products and help you with all of your projects. Lots of events and activities yet here this evening at the Classic, and we'll get our Fancy Heifer Show final drive underway here, where Austin is making his choice of a champion in reserve in our lineup. We'll bring those fancy heifers in, display them over on the north side of the panels. Again, they're displayed by lot number. After they're placed, we will parade our prospect steers and we'll let them parade a couple laps and we'll park them. And then we'll open up the ring and you guys can come in, look at the animals a little closer, and visit with the breeders.
Well, if you're standing ringside as a prospective buyer, I think you've got some really, really cool options out here. Females that can definitely compete on a state and national level, depending on the breed and kind of where you show. But I think females that offer just a ton of quality. There's a lot of future here, both on the breeding and the market side of things. So a lot of pretty neat ways that a guy can go here. But this program is definitely kind of unlike any others. I think there's a lot of opportunities here, and the fact that you're able to be provided with some educational opportunities, some tours, kind of the record book deal, and then interactions with other breeders and industry professionals is something that there's not many other consignor show and sales out there that offer it. And kind of hearkening back to my state FFA days, one of my favorite sayings was, there's no growth in the comfort zone, and there's no comfort in the growth zone. So if you're kind of scared about all the extra stuff that comes with it, don't be, because that's most of the time where you learn the most, actually, and where you have doors opened up to you that can actually become lifelong friends, relationships, partners, business partners, and even careers after that. So I think there's some really, really neat opportunities here to definitely be interested in outside of just purchasing a heifer or a steer. But with that being said, I think just a ton of quality in these 5 heifers, and definitely others that we let go back to the barns. Don't be scared of those. They're maybe just a little bit different type and kind, but everybody's kind of got a different eye for them. And so that's the cool thing about it, is there's a lot of ways that we can go out here. But just to kind of go back over and rehash them, the heifer that leads off the lineup, I think a really nice breeding female. Lots of length and performance and power found here. One that's definitely maybe a little bit more of a late bloomer. I think this one is going to shine as a bred when she gets softened and bellied down, but definitely a really cool project to stack in your barn. The heifer that's second in line, you about can't paint a silhouette better than this one. I think the way that one's front end comes out of her shoulder, the depth of body, the set to her hip and hind leg is just really, really exceptional. And you set the cattle in motion, and she's just so fluid like. You get behind them, and maybe she's not the most powerful. I'd like to see just a little bit more shape and skeletal width right there. But from the side, it's really hard to argue against that one. The young man's heifer third in line, one that's really, really unique in terms of her front end structure as well. I think that one is really cool in terms of the shape and power she brings from behind, the boldness of center rib cage. I think that one still reads exceptionally well when parked on the profile, and lots of skeletal width and a good foundation to go ahead and build off there. The young lady's heifer coming next. Lots of power. That's probably the most powerful female out in this lineup. One that's just super dimensional in center body. Still like the stoutness of feet and bone. I think one that really, really penciled up through that front third. There's some cool things you can play with and a lot of hair here. The heifer that rounds up the lineup, I think one that's just tremendous in terms of the presence and the style that she brings, along with the substance, the power, and the width from behind. I think one that's really, really hard to poke a hole in. You can tell these gals have done just a supreme job of getting these heifers broken ready for this show. And so any exhibitor that comes out and buys tonight, I think these are heifers that you can take out this weekend, be competitive in showmanship, let alone the actual breed show that she would fall into. I think heifers, there's a lot of cool pieces out here, a little bit different type and kind here and there. The females that line with my type and kind in terms of being functional, practical cattle that still offer some style and some balance. The young lady's heifer at the back of the lineup is going to go ahead and be your champion.
Your
After that,
champion. Your champion's Lot 4, brought to you by Prospect Hill Farms, Melina Lindstrom and her family.
after that, I think it gets really, really close to be reserved today. I think the two heifers in the center of the lineup that are left, both pretty different in terms of type and kind, but I think the one that just kind of comes back to the practicality side of things, being super fluid like in motion, and one that's maybe just really, really hard to poke a hole in from the side is going to be the young lady's heifer as well. She'll go ahead and be reserved today, but congratulations to these exhibitors and good luck tonight.
Congratulations. Again, lot 20 is your reserve. I'll let you guys go ahead and park those heifers over on the other side. Your lot number is marked there on the north side of the panels. So we'll let you guys park those heifers in there. So just go that way and find your lot number on the north side, Emily, on the north side of the panels. Give us a few minutes here and we're going to parade our steers. And again, we want to get those heifers parked on the north side of the panels, girls. Well, we will let our steers come in for a parade, so they're going to parade, guys. They'll make a couple laps. We'll put them on the profile in the center of the ring, and then they'll park by their exhibitor number. Then we'll bring in the next batch. So this will give you a look of these steers on the move. So we'll let them take a couple laps slowly around the ring. Go ahead and just join the circle back. When you're done walking, go ahead and just park on the panel at your respective lot number. Your lot numbers are taped on the south side of the panel, steer exhibitors. So when you feel like you're done walking, go ahead and park into your lot number on the panels. You know, the weather conditions have been pretty slick outside. And so some of these steers are anxious to get in here and get out of their stall and get moving because they haven't had an opportunity for much exercise the last couple days here. So go ahead and guys find your lot number on the panels. We'll let our next group of exhibitors go ahead and parade. When you breeders are ready, you can find your lot numbers. They are on the south side of the fence here, and the lot numbers are taped up on white there for you. Now you families can feel free. You guys can come in the ring here. We'll sell these animals at 6:30. So come in, get a little closer look. You can visit with the breeders, find out about their dispositions, talk to them about what they're weighing. If they've got registration papers, as you notice on the steers, looks like we've got some shorthorns. Remember, the Shorthorn Junior National is the only junior national in Nebraska this summer. Some registered Hereford steers. Make sure and come in here, visit with the breeders. Fancy heifers are on the north, steers are on the south. Again, here at 6 o'clock, we'll make some scholarship presentations. We have